I'm sure you noticed that I pulled out my long box.
I did.
I finally did that, yeah. Other than there being clearly some spiders who was, I guess, appreciating my comic collection and how much it definitely features Spider-Man. There was some pretty good stuff in there. Infinity War, Age of Ultron is in there. Just a small Infinity War. I think you got the big one.
I do have the big one.
Yeah. But Age of Ultron was in there. Had a couple of free comic book day issues of some things that were specifically free comic book day, so I was digging that. Definitely a bunch of indie comics from Stranger Comics, who they're an independent comic book company who we met on a free comic book day, and the guy was just dope. I followed him on Instagram, and he followed me back, and they put out some pretty good comics. So I want to read through some of those Stranger Comic Books series just to see, because the artwork has always been dope, and you want to platform more minorities in the space, right?
Yeah, I remember him because when we approached him, he's like, you guys are a couple, right? And we're like, yeah, we are. And he was like, you got kids? And we're like, well, not yet. And he was like, well, when you do, I wrote a children's story about interracial kids. And I was like, oh, okay. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yeah. He's an eccentric dude.
He was really cool.
He's an eccentric dude. I like him, though. He's cool. But yeah, that was how he approached us about it. So, no, I'm going to read through. And then, when I do, I'll read through, I'll just DM him and be like, yo, I fucked with this
Niobe,
one.
right?
Niobe's, yeah, is one of the main series.
Yeah, because he was like the model for that. She was Rue in the Hunger Games.
Right, yeah. And he was banking on that in there because, the picture of her on the cover of the Niobe book is you could definitely see that that's her. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. I put Age of Ultron in my bag for work, but I didn't get to read it on Friday when I actually pulled out the long box. But I'm gonna make it a point to keep at least one comic with me, and then one of the first impulses that I should have when I have nothing to do and my brain is wandering and it wants to pick up a phone and start scrolling, I'll pick up a comic and start reading.
Okay.
So
I think before we come back to the next pod, I'm going to actually read my iteration of Batman from the New 52. It's an old one. It's the first installment in the Court of Owls series, I think. So, by the time we get back, I'll have a little update for you guys about the comic. Well, we both will. We'll have our little comic corner.
We'll have a comic corner.
Yeah.
On the Cosmic Corner. Do you have a
lighter?
Uh-huh.
For the Cosmic?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's about the time you want to take this. It's about that time.
Right?
In the city.
Welcome, everybody, to the Cosmic Corner with Zolo and Boots.
I'm Zolo.
I'm Boots.
That was probably the most smooth we ever did that shit. Look at the growth.
And today, our rocket ship is the same old little rocket ship we be taking every day, This is our beater that we take around, This is the one we take out the garage every day. This is the one that we take to work, Zolo's the
not
one
literally.
I
don't literally take it.
I'm talking about cars, but yeah, that type.
No, it was a good joke. I got the joke.
If we had to have weed insurance, it'd be like, so is this something that you take for commute? Yes, it is our Hemperillo, Oh, what's the strain? I think it was just Indica OG.
Indica.
No, it's not. It's a West Coast company. It is Balto.
Okay.
And it's an indica.
Indica Balto. Of course it's an indica, because that's
what we smoke.
That's what we smoke. That's what we need, low-key. That's what I need, low-key, anyway.
We're smoking this right before we go see...
We're about to go see Sinners. Because, man...
It sounds like it's going to be so good.
Ryan Coogler been out here inspiring the masses. And if we already had our AMC A-list like we used to be, just big A-list members, we would have went to go see that on opening night for sure.
But even still, we looked at tickets and all of the premium
the IMAX is fucking full.
Oh, it's still full.
Matinee morning. You guys, this is a Sunday morning recording.
Yeah, we're a little late.
And the fucking IMAX theater was packed for the 9:30. So it's like, yo, people are really going to support this. So we're not going to get to see it in premium format, unfortunately. But gonna go support my man Coogler. Definitely get inspired. You know how many people hit me up about going to see this and that they're inspired by it? And my Just Hoops community, we were hooping, and the first thing, the Sunday opening weekend, niggas pulled up and it was like, seen Sinners? I know Desi reached out to me and was like, hey, Because actually, I think I reached out to her and Jazz because they posted that they saw it. And I'm like, was it good? And they're like, hey, you about to be inspired. I was inspired. You about to be inspired.
Yeah.
No, Kugler is one of them ones. Like, I still haven't watched Fruitvale Station. It's been on my list for a long time. But, like, the thing, I've talked to you about this constantly. How do you choose a day that you're like, I want to just watch something that I know is going to make me cry? That's kind of a weird mindset to, like, put yourself in.
Yeah. I personally would have too hard of a time watching it because I know what's going to happen, that you're sitting there hoping it doesn't. I don't know if I can do that.
I might have to, like, just buckle down and one day just be like, you know what? Just go it. Just do it. Because I've seen everything else, for the most part, that he's produced. I watched Black Panther, obviously. I watched the entire Creed franchise from when he was directing it to when him just producing it and Michael B. Jordan stepping into the director's chair for the third one. Like, keeping up with Coogler. And so having to see him step outside of the MCU for the vampire flick, I know it's going to be some social commentary. I know it's going to be visually beautiful. I know that the soundtrack is going to be dope because my nigga Ludwig been putting in work since I discovered folks in Community. Like, so, I'm pretty excited about going to see Sanders. She over here capturing vibes in the middle of the pod. That's pretty fire. I'm not gonna lie. We also, though, just got done finally watching Andor season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Andor,
Well, the first 3 episodes.
So the release schedule for Andor, they're doing it kind of interesting. It's a 12-episode series, and so every Tuesday they're gonna drop 3 episodes, because every single 3 episodes is supposed to be a different era. And it was like, did it say 4 years BBY? 4 BBY at the beginning of the first one? So my theory is that it's going to be a year every single time. So these next 3 episodes are going to be 3 BBY. And then, you know, the next 3 are going to be 2 BBY. And then the final 3 is going to be 1 BBY. And then clearly after we're done watching the whole series, we just got to watch Rogue One again and be like, does that really smoothly kind of fit into there like that? Is the extra context that we have around Cassian, how does that affect how we look at how the character moves in that movie? Like, I'm kind of interested in that. But what was your thoughts on just the first 3 episodes of Andor so far?
Really feeling the build up. Cassian, really watching him as he does his thing.
Yeah.
Just kind of creating a little bit of chaos and planting seeds and ideas in people's minds, and watching him just kind of work like that. Like,
definitely spoilers for the first 3 episodes of Andor. You should watch them as you're listening to this, because we're about to dive in. Because, like, was my Mothma getting it, or was my Mothma getting it at the end when she just had to throw caution to the wind and realize,
like, shit might be fucked up? And my daughter literally said at the beginning of this, I wish you were drunk, so why not?
I'm just finna turn up.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, hold up. So look, Andor has been giving us different flavors of Star Wars. I've now heard Star Wars house music and Star Wars hip hop. Definitely was some Star Wars hip hop, like mainstream Star Wars hip hop earlier, not the underground Star Wars hip hop shit that I'm sure they're listening to on like level 1313 of motherfucking Coruscant. Fucking Coruscant. Yeah, they probably got underground hip hop on like deep in Coruscant. That's not the hip hop that we heard in Andor, but they was definitely playing with some kind of like mainstream hip hop and some Star Wars house music. I'm digging the different flavors of the universe that we're getting to see. Cassian right now, and how his leadership is sort of developing. Like, that's kind of where I see the plot sort of taking me right now, especially with his first encounter just being with this faction of people who did not have a leader and splintered into these 2 different factions. And how he was playing with the things that he knew both had, or what each other needed, or the information, like him being like more pulled out of the situation and being able to see it from like this bird's eye view, and how he can sort of put the pieces where he needs to.
It was like he was able to extract information, but they couldn't get anything out of him. Yeah. He was even like, you should be more careful. Like,
he's doing his shit, man. He was definitely doing his shit.
And then everything that was happening with his family, you know, and the parallels of being illegal. I think that was very well done. You know, the tension they're really good with the tension, like building tension off of like even the littlest things. And that's something that Andor is supposed to like encapsulate, I guess. Because I was talking to
Talking about Ricky?
Ricky, yes.
You were talking to Ricky at the bar.
Ricky was like, I still don't get it. Maybe it's because, I'm old school Star Wars and, there's just, I was like, you missed the lightsabers. He's like, yeah, and I just don't know what's happening right now.
Okay,
but
look.
It's definitely espionage stuff. It's definitely like, if you go back and you watch Star Wars, it's always been politics. They've always been like,
Yeah, there's a political aspect to them.
Acting like Star Wars has never been, like the Jedi are working for the government. Like
the Jedi were the government.
Yeah.
And the Jedi failed because of how they were the government.
So the fact that we would see more of that type of political thriller espionage type of like the behind the scenes, like the rebellion wasn't built on Jedis.
That's fair. It wasn't built on the back of the Jedi Order. It was built on the back of these regular people who had to do some of this stuff. To Ricky's credit, I understand what he mean by like kind of like you don't know what's going on, because like when I'm following Cassian and when I'm following his family as they're being these engineers, but they're actually doing whatever they're doing to forward the agenda of the rebellion right there as they kind of set up while Cassian's still in his spaceship. I understand both of those plot lines completely, but Mon Mothma and all the political shit, it is a little bit kind of up there. And like I remember after the episodes, you kind of explained to me exactly how you saw it was developing, because you were looking at me to see if I could confirm what you thought. And I'm like, nigga, I really don't know. I know Mon Mothma's daughter is marrying old dude's son, and that it's a political marriage.
Right. And you had asked me in the episode, you're like, do you know what's going on? And I'm like, I think I know what's going on. And that's why I kind of gave you the recap at the end of, well, she's she's funding the rebellion.
Right.
And she asked one of her political friends that she's known since childhood to help her kind of smooth out the holes that are in her docket, because people are starting to look at everybody's accounts more because they're cracking down.
Her books got cracks in it due to how she's funding the rebellion, so she's trying to get homie to help smooth out the...
And that's what what's Skarsgård's actual name?
In the movie, now I'm getting it fucking because I know exactly who you're talking about.
But yeah, they're the two that are doing rebellion shit, and then he is on the other side. He's trying to get this TIE fighter that Cassian and another pilot were supposed to deliver to him, and he hasn't told Mothma about that because he's trying to keep things, because the less that everybody knows, the better.
Well, yeah, he's Lucian.
Lucian, yes, because he's got
Luthen. I think it's Luthen.
It's something.
One of those. It's definitely L.
Yeah.
My boy L.
Yeah, he's definitely like doing his own thing, and then Mothma's definitely, she has to figure out her end of everything, and then he's trying to figure out, hey, what's going on with you? And she's like, well, I'll tell you, but it's not like you're telling me anything. But she's kind of like, as soon as she okay, I got ahead of myself. So, oh boy, right? Oh boy. Yeah, that helped her with the foundation and everything. He's like, I lost my wife. Mm-hmm, I'm losing business. I need to know, like, I did you a solid, and now I'm in the hole because I did you a solid. Mm-hmm. And she's like, shit, why didn't you tell me? He's like, bitch, I've been calling you? What you mean? And she's like, oh shit, that's what all those calls were about. Okay, bet. So, but they said it in such a coy way that she's like, oh, I wish I had known. He's like, well, I thought I made that apparent. I'm like, okay. And so now...
You say, oh, I was beating around the bush around some shit, you know what I'm saying? Because later on, he definitely was like, hey, I respect this guy, because, like, this guy just said some shit straight up. I wish I said some shit straight up with you. I didn't. I couldn't. But this guy does. Mm-hmm. But go ahead. Keep on going, Boots. Your recap is killing me right now.
Okay.
I'm loving it. It's killing me right now.
So anyways, the whole wedding thing is happening because I can't remember. I'd have to rewatch the first one, but they said in the first season that they were trying to marry off her daughter with, I think, another political ally or political somebody's son, and it would make like a stronger ties or whatever.
Yeah,
that's what this wedding was about. Yeah,
you have more political power, more people within your network, especially as you're trying to steer the network towards the ideas of the rebellion.
Yeah, because weddings in this are just a formality. Even like Mothma and and her husband's like, like, you have a lover now? Is that what's going on with him over here? He's like telling her, I know you got something going on with old boy from your past. Are you fucking him? She's like, man, I haven't had time for that in who knows how long. So the weddings are not of love. Like, this is all about
It's all
agenda
political.
and all of that. And
It's all
mama,
agenda.
she didn't want her daughter to have that. She's like, at the beginning of her wedding, she's like, hey, you want this, Nora? Like, I'm gonna tell you what I wish my mom told me. You could have an out. You can do what you want. And her daughter is like, shit, I wish you were more like your mom. And
That shit
just
was
like,
wild to me.
and then it was like, damn.
I wish you was drunk.
Yeah, I wish
And
she was
that's when
more
my
like
mom
your
was like,
mom.
you know
Like,
what, man?
because
Shit.
I remember the first season, her husband and daughter were just digging into her, like, you not doing what you're supposed to be doing, like, you're a politician, like, what's going on? I just remember they were constantly ganging up on her, and she's like, none of this is right. Like, and she has to keep that, like under wraps, because if any eyes get on her, then,
People start seeing the rebellion.
yeah,
And the rebellion
she can't even
be
trust
in
her
the
own
shadows.
family, and
So,
she's trying to protect them. I'm like, damn,
shit
this is
fucking
hard.
crazy.
Like,
yeah. So, no, Andor
anyways,
is crazy.
now, old boy, her childhood friend, is like, hey, I need to get up somehow. I would love to help you. I would love to make this work. But I started talking to, old
My
boy
man's
over there.
and
The,
he-
the
yeah.
one your daughter's marrying into, like her father-in-law. I'm starting to talk to him. And she's like, oh, shit. And that's when she starts getting drunk. So, see, that's my takeaway of all of that, is like, now she thought things were smoothing over maybe a little bit.
But her life is about to be fucking
But it could
crazy.
be untangled again.
Her
Yeah.
life is about to be fucking crazy. We did get a little bit of action, so that's nice too. But the political intrigue, the family story, we gotta talk about it, because the internet is talking about it. We gotta talk about the scene. We
Yeah.
gotta talk about the scene.
See, for me, I knew it was going to happen. Like, the moment he started talking to her the first time, they already planted those seeds. And maybe it's being a woman. I was like, oh, okay. And my brain kind of shut it off. Because it's like, we already see those signs in our day-to-day life and how we can avoid it. And just watching her have to avoid it is kind of mind-numbing, because it's very real.
Yeah.
It's very real. And that's what I don't think a lot of fans get about Andor is supposed to be the real parts, the raw and the dirty parts of the rebellion. We've been saying for a long time, we don't just want the kiddie version. We don't want just the kid-friendly version of these stories. We want to see the real ones.
We want adult Star Wars.
And I think, I can understand, we'll do the friendly one, Grape, because we're on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
So, grape scenes or essay scenes alluding to it can be overplayed out, because it's the easiest, it's the low-hanging fruit to get to a woman, to really do something terrible to a woman, because of how prevalent it is. And sometimes we don't want to see it. And I think that the way that they did it was powerful and still tactful, but also still gives the raw energy of all of it. She even yells it out.
Yeah,
She's like,
directly,
he tried to do
she
this
directly
to me.
acknowledges.
So that's how I feel about it, personally. And I think while I was watching it, I was like kind of glad, because I don't think people really sit there and think about how terrible the Imperial Army is and what it's really based off of. It's based off of these types of, like, situations and these power imbalances, and what this type of, like, what it looks like, you know?
What that power does to people.
Yeah, it's a real thing, and I like seeing real things, because it's so easy, even in today's society and today's political climate, to try to make things feel less serious than it is. And that's why we're in this situation. That's why we have ICE and stuff. I've been noticing the parallels between the Imperial Army and ICE. Like, I'm sitting there seeing it, and I'm like, this is powerful. And this is what art's supposed to do.
This is what art is absolutely supposed to do, as artfully as it can do it. And I don't think we need to say much more on the scene, because how you feel about it and how women feel about it is what's really important. And whether or not it belongs in Star Wars, I guess, depends on if you are a person who wants adult stories in Star Wars. Because if you like real and you want to see the real and you want to see what real people would go through, that's what Andor is definitely giving you.
Yeah.
So I'm appreciating Andor for that, and I think it handled everything as artfully as it could.
Speaking of art, though, and how it's ever evolving, how about that new Baldur's Gate
Oh my God.
update?
They've done it again. They've absolutely done it again. So last time we was on here talking to y'all about Divinity Original Sin, which is where, I originally got into Larian, but now I'm back in the lands between. That's fucking Elden Ring.
That's Elden Ring.
I'm back in Baldur's Gate.
It's
I'm
a
back in Baldur's
Feyal.
Gate. I'm back in Ferelden.
No, that's fucking
Dragon
Dragon Age.
Where am I back?
Is it not Feyal? It's something F.
I'm totally
I'm
back
high.
in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
I'm totally back in Baldur's motherfucking Gate. They dropped the final update,
I
which
am the Druid of the Stars.
You
now.
love Druid. They dropped the final update, which gives every single class one more new subclass. It also finally has cross-platform, so now you can play with your PC friends on Xbox.
Oh.
And
PlayStation and Xbox?
I do believe so. I have to test the PlayStation and Xbox, but probably it might be completely cross-platform at this point.
I would easily buy
And
that on
then, the
PlayStation.
Xbox One S version also now finally has split screen. It didn't have it. The game didn't come to Xbox for a long time
Because of that.
because Microsoft always wanted to have the Xbox One X and Xbox One S games when they come out to be completely feature parity, like exactly the same, but they were just having a hard time getting the split screen to work on the S. And so after a while, they was just like, nah, because we can't just have this out on PlayStation. You need to just drop this. And when you figure it out, you figure it out. And they finally figured it out. So now, their feature pair is there.
Yeah.
Took a while, but all things good.
Yeah.
Game is fun. The new subclasses are dangerous and like, I started a new honor run as a Hexblade Warlock. And so getting to bind a weapon at level 1, and then at a certain point I'm gonna be going into sorcery and do the black magic sorcery. But the Hexblade Warlock has like the access to a smite already, and like, oh my god, it's like dark paladin. It's like dark paladin. So yeah, I was definitely on Hexblade. I haven't tried the new paladin. I have tried the death cleric, which is really dope. Necromancer. I've tried the wizard one. The Spellblade, I think is what it's called. That one's actually really, really dope. That might be the only ones that I've tried, because I don't think I've really tried the fighter one yet.
And I did the
Haven't
Druid
tried the ranger.
of
You've
the
done
Stars.
the Druid of the Stars. Is
It's
that
dope. Yeah, it is dope. Because you don't change your form per se. There's just like a haze of stars around you.
Yeah, you have a star form,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
you get this
It's
cool
really
like
cool.
star visual.
Yeah.
But then you have like different.
Yeah, so it's like it gives you the option of being like, I think it's long range, tank, or like more of a fighter.
Right. Each
And
form is
so-
like a different kind of combat
Buff
area
type of thing. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, and I've been using it more for tank if they're coming at me and, I'm a little more squishy, at the beginning as a druid.
Yeah.
So, it's been pretty cool. It's been pretty dope.
Do you think you would kind of try to build your character around maybe one of the star forms, or is it very much like you pick a star form for a situation and like it's that's kind of like how you want to be approaching it? It's like
Yeah, it's situational.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
Because it doesn't matter. I'm still rolling the same, the same stat. So it's not like I have to sit there and decide which one I want to pour
yeah,
more into.
it all goes off wisdom.
Yeah, so if I'm
Yeah.
like more far away, I'm going to be more archery. If I'm right there in the fray, I'm going to be a tank. And alone, I'm going to be a tank. Or if we just need more damage, I'm going to just switch over to damage.
So does the weapon that the character uses actually even matter?
It's a power It's not even a weapon. It's like a power.
Right. So, but you have a weapon slot.
I do have a weapon slot.
So does your weapon slot matter per se in the scheme of your build so far? It's kind of sound like it doesn't.
No, yeah, I just build myself out as a druid, so I just have my staff. I use the shillelagh, that makes it more powerful, and then whatever extra power I get from the stars, I just use that power.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you still like your weapon matters a little bit, like.
It's just it's the same amount, It's just an add-on.
Yeah, most of the time I guess the druid weapon really what you're looking at is just whatever stats that kind of weapon gives you, and less what kind of damage.
And I'm a
it's
druid,
putting
so
out,
I kind of just want to keep it as a staff. So.
Yeah, that's fair. That's pretty fair. And there's some dope staffs in the game that you can get at a certain point.
And that's not the only game I'm playing, because you know me, I play just random things.
Who's you playing random?
I play random games, and so Game Pass was telling me that, there's this new game that I might like, and I'm like, how would you know that? And it's Crime Scene Cleaner. And it was right. So I played it and I beat it within like
this game,
2
Boots?
days. So listen, you're a janitor, you're a dad, and of course your daughter is like, in the hospital with some crazy illness. You don't even know what it is, and you got to pay it off, and your wife died years ago, and it's the same story. You got a dog, you're alone in this house, right? You don't see another like actual physical body move, and you get this job to like start cleaning up these crime scenes for a mob boss, and like it just keeps going, and this mob boss has more like and terrible things he's doing. Like there was a whole pizzeria shootout, and I had to clean up all of that. So like, and then he had a daughter who threw a party at her cabin resort area, so I had to go clean this whole cabin resort because all sorts of just random deaths happened here.
The gameplay of this game, I'm just like, I'll be sitting there playing something like Baldur's Gate or like trying to rank up in Marvels, and she over there just like cleaning up blood off a crime scene, and like I'm like, what are you doing over there, Boots? What's going on? Like,
and then there's like one where there's like a conveyor belt, so I'm putting the bodies on the conveyor belt, and then they go into my. I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn, I missed the conveyor belt, and I had to go pick up this body, and he looks up and he's like, what the fuck is going on?
What are you? Yeah, man, this freaking game. So it's called Crime Scene.
It's Crime Scene Cleaner.
Crime Scene Cleaner.
Yes. So it's free. It's on Game Pass right now. So go play it if you need to. Like it's a cozy game. Like go get a blanket, go snuggle up, get some coffee, and clean up crime scenes.
What is cozy about cleaning the blood off of?
Listen. It's so soothing. These cleaning games are very soothing. And then you leave and the house looks really nice. Like
it's like why y'all be why do y'all
and it was giving me inspiration. I'm sitting here, I'm like, what if I did make a game around cleaning up? Like what's a cleanup game I could make? You know what I came up with?
What's your cleanup game, Boots?
Okay, what is my favorite thing? Every time you talk about, hey, we need to make a game, what would you want to make it around? What do I always say? Do you know me? What do I always say?
What do you always say? You say crime.
What is fucking Monster Town PI?
Do you say crime? Do you say...
I say supernatural. I say monsters and stuff. Yes.
It's Found Family?
Yes.
Vin Diesel?
Well, no.
I was going to say Vin Diesel.
Monsters,
that
right?
was my answer.
So what if we made a game? It's a cleanup game, but you're cleaning up accidental, like I guess you would say crime scenes, but it's for monsters. Like, what if
clean up monster crime scenes?
Monster crime scenes.
Clean up
so a monster is like hitting you up, and they're like, "Hey, I went full monster last night. I'm not gonna lie, I went full wolf. It was a full moon, and I just accidentally ran through a whole frat party that was out in the woods. Like, can you go clean that up for me? Like, it would be shit like that, or like a vampire would hit you up." We had a feeding frenzy. Bob got out of control. It was half an orgy. And so you have to go clean up a sex dungeon filled of like dead bodies because this vampire just accidentally went off.
Is this a game in Monster Town?
No, this is not. This is definitely not. This is a 3D cleanup game.
Why couldn't it be a Monster Town?
You could have no, because Monster Town is not 3D.
No, not be in the game Monster Town.
Oh, you mean the universe? Yes.
Yeah, why
Yes.
wouldn't it be in the Monster Town
it's
universe?
the Monster Town
why
universe.
wouldn't it be?
Because the whole point of Monster Town is to prove that these monsters aren't actually monsters.
They're just like us, and that's but the crime scene. So you what you want
So
the crime
we
scene?
have to
if
have-
it come out before, then you like paint the wrong picture. But if it come out
Yes.
after, then you're like, they're just like us.
Or maybe we can have a hint that Monster Town Island, like the Monster Island exists, that's like for monsters that don't fuck up.
Okay.
But it is the same universe. I would like that.
Okay.
It's
Well,
just not
plant
on
some
Monster
seeds,
Island.
Plant some seeds. I like planting seeds.
Yeah, because it's so easy, because we can get a lot of people on this and release it easily. You know why? Because these room games you don't have to rig any characters or anything. That's why they're room games. You just have to place stuff in the environment, and that's it. And then you have to just kind of code your character to move around and do things, but you're just placing items in environments, and that's
then
it.
It becomes like more about the story behind it, or then like the cozy part is just the
cleaning up,
organizing of the stuff on the screen. And so you gotta make those assets, and so I can see that. Little monster cleanup simulator.
Cleanup games are
game.
so
I can see
easy,
that.
and they're like, people love to play them. Like unpacking is a cleanup game, and I just 100%ed that on Xbox because they just are really soothing to the brain. If I have anxiety, you just clean up.
Unpacking games, yeah.
And this game was also, the crime scene cleaner was also on my cozy games Facebook group, because there are other women that are like, this is just cozy. I like to just clean. It makes me feel good.
So
but I like the
hilarious.
story. You come home to your dog every day, and there's an achievement to pet your dog 15 times. Every time you pet your dog, he's like, is Daddy a monster now because I'm cleaning up after these guys? And you'll come home and you're like, you're a good boy. You don't murder people. It's just... It's so corny, and the basement is glitched out, but it's still playable, and that's why it gave me some motivation. I was in the shower today and thinking about it, because I was like, I'm gonna talk about this on the pod. I'm like, what if I made this game?
What if you made that game? I'm behind it.
Yeah,
Whatever you need, I got you.
I'm gonna shout out Knives and GDOF. Hey guys, come help me make this game.
And it was just, we were just out with the guys for Knives' birthday. It's been birthday weekend.
Happy birthday, Knives.
For this little henny boy over here. So I think that was very cosmic. I thought you said
it's not.
no,
we're making it a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah, and then you're gonna take this as a soundbite, and you're gonna just make it into a beat. Just us saying cosmic.
Why are you gotta beat to the thing? You just gotta put some.
But it's for the outro.
Okay.
Yes.
New outro beat.
New outro beat.
Okay.
Yes. We're inspired today, and then we're gonna go see Sinners, and we're gonna be even more inspired.
Right now, and then we're about to go kick it with the squad.
The homies. I made balls. Let's go.
Thank y'all for tuning in to the Cosmic